Hello and welcome to Extra Connections. I am James Lott Jr. We're here to connect you with people, places, things, and music. And this trio, I just got introduced to them and I love their music already. They have fun titles like Spoiled AF, Bastard 2, and Until the End. And one called Hookup Culture too. That was another one too. It's kind of fun. But they have a new song called Nice Guy. But it's not what you think. We listen to the lyrics. We're going to talk about that also. I'm happy to have Eric, Dominic, and Max here. They are them Fantasies. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Okay. So which one's so Dominic, you're the bass player, right?
The bass player and lead singer. Yeah.
Okay. I'm in love with your bass work.
Oh, yeah.
On your songs. I'm like, it is so rhythmic. I mean, you got all three of you guys are so good together, but like it's so that bass is like speaking to me. I have a bass voice, you can tell. It's just so I'm like, who is this guy? Because it's always a guitarist. It's always like bass players have something too, right?
Absolutely. We're here to break it down.
And break it down. So good. Okay, so everybody, I'll play a couple of songs during the show, of course. But everybody, follow us on Facebook. Follow us on all the social media platforms. Follow us on Spotify. Follow us everywhere. Just follow us. Be kind. Rewind. Okay. So you guys are this trio that plays this music. It was told to me that was alt pop funk, I guess. To me, it's very pop funk. I don't know about the alt part. It just feels like it sounds like it can be played within a lot of genres, I guess, to me. Is that how you guys, any of you can take this question, is that how you describe your music, just basically as pop funk?
Well, it's hard because we've been making a lot of different music than we normally have. If you compare our newer singles that we've just recently put out compared to our record from 2019, Caffeine Queen, we're definitely still finding our sound and what clicks for us. But in new singles like Spoiled AF and Nice Guy, there's a lot of new timbres that we haven't explored before. So as of right now, we've been describing our music to people as alternative pop or funk, and also hints of indie rock as well. The three of those genres together, we kind of, fall somewhere in between those. But it's hard because we don't really feel like we fit right into one of the categories.
Changes with the song.
Mm-hmm. But that also makes us think that we might be doing something right and new, at that point. So
I love it. No, I love that you don't do just one genre. That's it. A lot of great musicians, I think of Prince or people like that who they try different genres, and it's all good. It's just that you want to do a country sounding song, sure, why not? You want to do a rock song, so what? You do it. I mean, a lot of great artists do that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's about the journey.
Yeah. What's it? Because you guys write your own songs, right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess it's whatever the song calls for, right? That you do kind of. That's where the music goes.
Yeah, and especially more recently, this batch of songs that we're putting out now, 2 of the singles have come out. It will all come out on an EP that comes out on November 5th called, we just named it yesterday. How Modest is what is going to be what
I like it. So you got a little exclusive here, folks. How Modest is the EP.
How Modest.
I'll put it in the thing. There we go. Very good.
But yeah, for our old songs compared to our newer things that we're putting out now, we're really finding the bridge between us as instrumentalists, who went to music school, who like to play flexy music with, crazy chords and odd time signatures, and then kind of transcending that and just letting songwriting and melodicism and lyrics speak. And that's kind of where we're at right now. We're kind of toning down some of the instrumental work that we've loved to do so much, and it's always going to be a part of us, but we're letting more songwriting skills shine more than ever, and we're really happy with where we're going.
Max, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, no.
I'm going to call you anyway, so go ahead. So tell us.
You're good. Essentially just trying to serve the music with our songwriting. It's like when you're learning a bunch of new crazy cool things and you're surrounded by all other musicians, you want to try out a lot of stuff. And I think we're spending a period of refining. Like I'd say we're trying to refine and see what does the song need and trying to serve it to the best of our abilities and how we're feeling at the moment.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I write songs. I write a song almost every day, just about, or a piece of a song every day. Like something.
Awesome. Yeah.
Woo! That's hard. You know how it is. Like I have my little voice recorder on my phone, and I'll be like, "The sky is blue," and whatever it is, and then I'll go back to it later, and then I'm like, and at some point I get home, I'm like, okay, let's get all the little bits together and see if they do anything. What is the three of you? What is your songwriting like these days?
Like the process?
Yeah, the process. Thank you. The process.
It usually comes from an idea. There's 2 ways I see it. Either me or Dom will bring a melodic idea either on the bass or the guitar,
to the group, and we'll be like, I think this is cool, let's do something to it. And we'll get on our instruments and we'll kind of formulate our ideas. And we usually write music, almost all the music first before lyrics happen. Eventually we want to kind of, see if we can write lyrics first, but currently like we started as instrumentalists, so that's a bit easier for us. And then there are other songs that happen just like straight out of us jamming. We think it's important to just kind of like let loose and have a good time, not just like be structured all the time, just like have jam time. It's important as musicians to remember, that fun act of playing music. And so sometimes we'll be on an idea and we're like, damn, that's really cool. I want to continue with this. And so some of the songs will start out of that.
But also, I mean, like sometimes one of us, like at least we've been trying to switch it up recently. Like Dom will come to us with lyrics and be like, okay, how can we write a song around this? And we're like, this is sick. Let's try this out. Like we don't want to have it so refined that each time it's like kind of the same process. We want to kind of throw ourselves in very different songwriting situations to kind of push ourselves in different ways.
Well, it's like you don't be like a job. Like, okay, from 9 to 7 we do this, and then from 7 to 5 you don't want to do that. I mean, you don't want to do that either. You want to be able to stay creative, and then when the burst hits, however it hits, it may hit you first or him first or this, or like it shouldn't matter. It's just that you'll piece it together to make a song, no matter how it stems. I'm gonna play one of your songs. We're gonna play "Nice Guy." It's a new single. A little bit of that.
Saturday night, the party's dead.
So good. It's so good.
Back till the end. Everyone's racing to find someone to wake up to. My friend on the left keeps cracking jokes. His method of game is acting rogue.
Great line. Great line.
If I look, I'm standing by. And if I just keep quiet, he won't realize. He's a nice guy.
What's funny about this song is, so you hear the lyrics. They're really good lyrics. That one line is talking about being woke. This song, this particular song reminds me of like Franz Ferdinand. It reminds me of there's a time period where it was a lot of melodic, upbeat rock music, so to speak.
Absolutely.
There were a lot of bands that were coming out like that. Franz Ferdinand was the first that came to my brain because they just the first one that came to my brain. But there are others too. That song reminds me of that style, just for sake of comparing to a style for people to get to hear it.
Absolutely.
That's why it came. But the lyrics are a little very serious, basically, kind of in there. So that's about both. It's about all of that. Anybody can take this. How did this song come about?
Absolutely. So this song was, in particular, a pretty important milestone, I think, for us, for many reasons. Number one is that we knew we wanted to tackle a subject matter like this because, we just came out of college, and we personally think that every guy can have a friend, or not even just guy, anybody can have a male friend that, they might be chill with each other and they might be boys and, they're all hanging out. But the moment that they hear that they treat women in an inappropriate way and that girls come up to you and say, hey, your friend is acting blank, but this isn't cool. I feel uncomfortable. You can't, even though it's a hard situation for yourself, like you don't want to call out your friend, but you can't ignore all of these things that people are saying. We wanted to say that it's important that you do hold those friends accountable because that's not cool. And if you really cared about them and you were your friends, you need to help them learn, you need to be able to hold them accountable. So that's what this whole song is all about, and the difficulty of that situation. But it's important for us in other ways too. This was the first song that we've co-written with another person. The wonderfully talented and beautiful Faride Blanco helped us write some lyrics on this song. We wanted to make sure that there was also a female perspective in on this. We didn't want just 3 straight white dudes talking about this problem because that doesn't feel very doesn't feel
work these days. Because the optics on that is not the greatest. Yes.
Exactly. But that's so that's why we included her. and we are really happy with the lyrics. And also, this is one of the first songs that we've had where we have a pretty upbeat and chill kind of vibe. You know, the whole landscape of the sound, the guitars are really chill. The drums are pretty driving and laid back. You know, I'm doing some fun little bass chords. The melody's really catchy, but the lyrics are super serious, you know? So it was really fun for us to, I think, to contrast that, those two things of the crazy, you know, important story on one hand, and on the other hand, crazy, light, you know, chilled back, fun instrumentals. So contrasting the happy and serious thing was really cool for us.
I'm a sucker for that. I love like the hard soft sound people do sometimes, or like they do like a serious thing and they make it upbeat sounding. I mean, I love that kind of stuff, because you could have been very soft and serious in the music, and it'd probably be fine also, but then it's like it's almost on the nose, right? It's like almost on the nose, like you're supposed to be upset, so we're going to tell you how to be upset. Well, this is like you're listening to it, you're kind of bopping around and going, oh yeah, that's not good, you know, kind of thing about the subject. I kind of like that.
Well, it's a way, I think, of getting a very serious and important idea and message out that we wanted to do our best to convey, while also kind of serving it with the chaser, you know what I mean? Because I think that's important to get people to listen. You know, there's a lot of music that talks about important issues that's just really serious, and it's great and it's awesome for individual listening and when you're sitting in your room and vibing. But I think this has the power to be listened to and taken a little bit more seriously, or not even that, but taken by a larger audience, I think.
Just more palatable overall to people. You know, if the music draws them in and the lyrics draw them in, that's killing two birds with one stone, you know?
Well, it's kind of like the concept in comedy, you know, like comedians can kind of get away with saying things about society that would be otherwise more difficult in a context that's very serious. And, you know, they say it in a way that makes you think about it without necessarily being initially abrasive. And I think we're trying to go with that, where we want to say something, but also make it palatable. And, you know, upon further listenings, it kind of sinks in deeper and deeper.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so I want to find, because you have an education element, and I love talking to musicians who actually go to school. And Berkeley, Berkeley is a well-known. I have friends who've gone. It's a well-known institution. So how did the two of you guys meet? Like, who we met first? Give me some background. Like, when did all this start to germinate?
Right. So Dom and I met the first day of Berkeley, first day of freshman year. He lived right next to me. So it was just chance that I met him the first day, and as every Berkeley student, as every music school student does, on the first day they're like, oh my gosh, I'm surrounded by so many other musicians. We got to jam. I just got to jam with everybody. I got to play with everyone. And so he came into my room, and we started. We left our door open, and people would just wander in, and we started jamming. And I was like, damn, this guy is pretty nice with the bass.
And then the RA comes up, and they're like, hey, can you not play in your room at music school? Yeah, it's like, all right.
Yeah. But yeah, so from there, obviously, we started like just connecting closer as musicians, and we started writing together. We had a few different drummers before we found Max. So the project had started beforehand. We had written some of the songs that were on Caffeine Queen as early as that freshman year. And yeah, that's how we met. And then we met.
How did Max wander in? If he's like
walks into a bar.
Man walks into a bar with just drumsticks, and then
I started working with these boys when they were studying in Spain. We all studied in Spain together, and their drummer couldn't make it out at the time, and I was one of the few drummers like on the trip with us, and we kind of just clicked it off. And like I hadn't really found kind of my like people, I guess, at school, or like my community, I feel, until like I really started playing with like Dom and Eric. And I spent like the whole semester abroad with them. We were playing, and then they went back and got with their other drummer again, which is fine.
We did.
It's
yeah.
cool.
Oh, that's so funny. Okay. You were just a replacement.
Hey, he wasn't done with his training arc yet.
Yeah,
okay?
I know. This is
Okay. Yeah. That's so funny. But let's talk about that for a second. So you guys are in another country, which adds its own layer to when you're away from home. So you're together studying abroad, and you're already immersed in all of that. But you start playing together, so it must have been really strange for you, Max. Especially you probably think you made a connection. This is like this is great, but you're not really the drummer yet.
It was almost like it was kind of nice because it was a trial period, though. I mean, I didn't really know them that well until we started gigging with each other, and I've played with a lot of groups of people, and it just felt really good and right. And I was, by the end of the, the 4 months we were there, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I can't play with these guys anymore. It's a bummer. They're now like my best friends. So it's been a year, and the other drummer, Steven, fantastic dude. I have nothing but amazing things to say about him. He's actually spent so much time with me in the practice room, just teaching me
Oh,
stuff.
wow. Okay.
So this honestly, like playing with him kind of lit the fire in me to get as good as humanly possible. And then Steven just had to leave school. He got another opportunity, so I got the opportunity to be back in the band, and been with us since.
Yeah, and
That's kind of cool though. At least for you guys, for Eric and Dominic, you knew you had somebody who'd be good, who could replace, who'd come in, and sometimes you got that whole process of trying to get another drummer. It could be crazy.
But also that year that we went back to Steven after we did the year abroad in Valencia, semester abroad in Valencia, Max did a lot of practicing. I think that was really essential and important to his artistry and who he is as a drummer, and what his vocabulary looks like. A lot, I think that year, 2019, early 2019, end of 2018 was really important for that. And I don't regret at all necessarily taking Steven back and then, going back to Max afterwards, because I think it was something that, served Max super well in the end of the day.
I think so too. I mean, like it bummed me out enough to get light the fire into my blood, being like, all right, let's do it. And it serves me in so much in this band, but also just as an artist in general, Yeah. So I'm thankful for these guys for that,
Here we go. So I'm gonna play another piece of Spoiled AF.
Let's do it.
The volume would help. Now this is fun. It's almost disco-esque. Where's my fro? I get my fro bigger.
Yeah, man.
Ready.
Everything in life will come for free. I don't need anything. I want everything. Nice and fancy cars. Every little drop behind the bar. I don't need anything, but I want everything. Hey, I thought it was clear. Just keep it right here. I know what I want. I need a little more.
So good. It's funny. I don't need anything, but I want everything. Great line.
Thanks.
Great line. That is a great line. I don't need anybody. I want everything. That's a great line. And that's Spoiled AF. Yes, almost said it myself. But yes, I love that song. It's again, that one's super funky.
That's one of my favorites out of this batch for sure.
Yeah. It's like, where did that come from? But came from training, obviously, and your creative brains. So I'm going to ask each of you guys how important, as you look back on it now, going to school was, your music education was for each. I wonder for each of you, like this, how important it is for you now.
Who wants to start? Go for it.
I mean, I think obviously first and foremost it was extremely important because I met these guys.
Oh yeah, well yes, there's that. Yes.
So just off the top, I think it was really important. Berkeley and music schools are very different from other colleges, and that to a certain extent, you get out of it what you put in, and we realized that because we saw a lot of people who were grinding, practicing, shedding 8 hours a day, and they were killing it, and then other people who were there who were like, I'm just gonna go out and be a regular college freshman instead of practicing my instrument and getting better and making connections. I'm just going to go out and party and go to frats and shit.
Oh, yeah.
That wasn't really the way to do it. And, obviously all of the theory and all of the schoolwork and the coursework that we did was super helpful in advancing our playing, our writing abilities. And I think the networking was also a huge factor. We met a lot of people out there. And when we moved from Boston to LA, we already had a built-in network of over 100 people at least that we knew from school, because as a music school, you go to 3 cities, New York, or LA. So all of those connections proved to be super helpful in getting our foot in the door in Los Angeles here.
That's good. Dominic, for you.
Yeah, well, for me, for anybody listening to this, I think it's important to say that our feelings about what happened with us at music school and the experience that we had there is totally on an individual basis. Not everybody is meant to go to school. And, you absolutely do not need to go to school to, make it in this industry, quote unquote, make it. I hate using that word, but you know what I mean. You don't need to go to music school to, indulge yourself into the music industry. That being said, Eric already touched on this. I met all of these guys, of course, but I was able to study and work in the bass department at Berklee with people like Victor Wooten and Steve Bailey and like super legendary bass players. Yeah. I got to learn on, and know on a first name basis and help. Like, one time I was rewiring John Patitucci's pedal board, like things like that. And that's like pretty like crazy in the world of bass, at least, whatever the world is, but,
I know what you mean.
Yeah. But I really enjoyed what I got out of there. And I know all of these guys did too. There's so many new genres that I grew an appreciation for going to music school. I came into music school really just listening to a lot of like grunge, like Alice in Chains, Soundgarden. Those are my, bread and butter. Yeah. But then I'm walking out of music school and I'm listening to Robert Glasper and Thundercat, Anderson .Paak, so many Kuti, so many people that have just been so inspirational to us that are completely outside of the rock world that I knew before. So that was really important for me, and I had a great time. But that doesn't mean that everybody will have a good time. It's just, what do you want? What can you do, kind of thing.
Yeah. Max, about you?
I got you. I mean, Dom's got a really strong point. I think I came from an incredible point of privilege to be able to go to school. And I think just like, recognizing that, like, kind of made me, it lit the fire under me. It's like, oh, okay, I'm here. I'm going to utilize everything I can out of it. And I was always kind of an academic kid, so I functioned well within kind of the boundaries of a school. For me, it definitely made me so much better musician by giving me all these opportunities for me to go and do a lot of personal work for myself. And, again, I wouldn't have met these guys if I didn't go to school. I knew I wanted to do music, and I am really thankful that I could go to school. I loved it. I loved most of it. There's always parts of every institution or every experience that you're like about. But I'm so thankful and lucky that I could do it, because it made me just such, I as a drummer, I got exposed to so many other drummers and just such amazing teachers. And I met so many like dear friends and felt like I had like a lovely community. And that's, again, it's my individual own experience. But I felt pretty positive about the whole situation. Also, I mean, I think we all went in with scholarship as well. And we all recognize it's like, it's not worth going into crazy debt to go to music school, in my opinion, and it's hard to explain that to an 18-year-old, it's like, but now you're doing music full time, and it's a balance,
Yeah. Now, you guys all graduated, correct?
Yes, we did.
Hey, what'd you guys graduate in? Each of you, what'd you graduate in?
I graduated with music business and guitar performance.
Okay.
I graduated in this thing. It's a major called professional music, which is kind of like a fuse your own major thing. Okay. And I did bass performance and songwriting.
And I did a dual degree with music business and drum set performance.
Very good. Okay, music business. That's smart.
Yeah.
Smarts, people, smart. So
I was a fake business major.
Yeah, that's true.
All my friends are smart in music business, and I was like,
you may know a few things.
I'm entertaining.
I can entertain you at least. I can do something. Okay, so when you guys were all three were separate, you were a little Eric, you were a little Dominic, you were a little Max. Did you guys think that music could be a career choice for you? Was that always an option, or was it later that you felt like I could possibly do this for a living somehow? I'm just really curious about that.
I think it's always what it had to be honest with you. I think I can speak for these guys when I say that too, but I don't think I would be capable of living a life where I'm not trying my ass off to do music full time, whether that's songwriting for other people, right. Other artists that I work with out here, or that's, learning more about music production and mixing all of our TikToks and, doing all of that stuff. Like everything across the board, I think is, when I do it, it just feels like I'm doing what I was supposed to do. And I don't really want to have a feeling that's different than that. So that's kind of where I'm at personally. I don't really feel like I could do anything else. I feel like this is what we're meant to do. And I am so confident in that, and I'm grateful to be confident in that too.
Yeah, you guys are going to be huge stars. You're huge, I can tell already. What are you going to say, Eric?
I was gonna say, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, I didn't necessarily think when I was like 8 years old, oh, I'm gonna go to Berklee College of Music and then I'm gonna
Right.
No,
you know, but I pretty much knew that I would not be happy in any other job except for music, and I was gonna make it work no matter what. It's just a matter of how. And so yeah, there was never really any question in my mind from the very beginning.
I mean, out of the three of us, it's like I think maybe I was the least sure, because I gigged a lot like through kind of early high school into late high school, and music was like the love of my life, you know. But I also was like I was considering doing like science and math and things like that, and I also just love cooking so much that I was also considering culinary school.
Oh, wow.
But you know, I waited till like my senior year of high school to really go, okay, like what am I going to do with my life when it comes to this? I just applied to a bunch of different kinds of schools and see what stuck. And I got into Berklee, and that's the one I wanted the most. And I was like, okay, music, we're doing it. Like, this is what I actually was too afraid to say. I'm going to freaking do it. And, you know, I haven't looked back since. You know?
Yeah. It's a weird age for people to learn, you know, or to decide, hey, this is what I'm going to devote, you know, thousands of dollars to, and what I'm technically going to do for the rest of my life. And of course, you don't, you know, so many people don't actually go after what they majored in college. Of course
That's
not.
true.
But it just seems like such a weird age to be like, hey, by the way, you're graduating high school. What the fuck are you going to do with your life?
Right.
Like, you know.
Right. You don't know. You know what's going on. I want to ask you, because I'm on TikTok also. I'm supposed to get TikTok star or some sort or whatever. I had a couple videos go viral. How are you guys using TikTok? How are you finding it?
Oh, well, there's a lot of ups and downs, I'd say, guys. You know, like, as you know, as a TikToker knows, right? It's like you have viral videos that it's like, oh my God, every swipe that I have, I refresh the page and there's like 5 new notifications every time I move my finger, you know, and that's really cool. And it's cool to see everybody reacting in a positive way to your art, you know. But something that we really want to do is we want to insert more of our original music and more of our originality as a band into TikTok. However, I don't think TikTok likes that very much, you know. We've had original things do well like a year ago, but otherwise the videos that tend to do the best for us are more satirical or like
comedy oriented too.
Yeah, well, not even just straight comedy. It's like musical comedy.
Musical, like very like musicianship forward, comedy adjacent.
Like we do a lot of like mashups, so we'll be like, what would it sound like if we took How to Save a Life by The Fray, but played it like we were in 1975? Mm-hmm. And people eat that up, you know, but that's not music.
That's true. I did a mashup last year. It's funny you say that. I had a song called Busy, and it's a dance song, but I mixed it up with You Spin Me Round by Dead or Alive.
Nice.
And we mixed it together, and people they just went nuts. It's so weird, like, okay, and it kind of sounded decent. I'm like, oh, that sounds decent. My vocal with that thing was kind of weird. But I did a couple of songs last year because of the pandemic. I was sitting at home bored. I wrote a couple of songs just for TikTok that were like under a minute. I got my keyboard out with the drum machine and just did them on it. And you're right, people liked them. I tried it this year, crickets. I didn't hear nothing. But last year the songs was huge.
It's changing all the time, man. The algorithm, it does.
It's hard to keep up with.
It is.
Trends are so quick, you know.
So what we're trying to do is not let TikTok dictate our mental health, you know? It's because it's so impactful. It's like, you know, you're putting so much time and energy and effort into these videos that you think are really sick, but sometimes at the right time or place, even though you believe they're awesome. So I think we're getting to the point where it's like we want to make things that we really like, and, you know, we're going to put them out regardless. Like,
and we really want to focus too. You know, TikTok is not the end goal for us. No, our end goal is having crazy placements and, you know, playing Madison Square Garden and freaking headlining Lollapalooza, and we're going to do that.
You're going to. I have no question in my mind. You're going to.
Thanks, man.
You are. I mean, no question.
What we want to do is we want to use TikTok, I think, going forward, is like more of like a supplemental thing to our music, because the music comes first. And now that we're performing live again in Los Angeles, we have a show at the Viper Room on October 30th. That'll be really fun. Now that we're doing that again, you know, our focus is in a lot of different places. This isn't 2020 anymore, where we're only on lockdown, staying at home, making TikToks. It's just not like that anymore.
I wish I was in town. I'm marrying my best friend. I'm going to be officiating the wedding. in Santa Rosa. So here's if I can say this because they told their friends already, but it's going to be a Halloween wedding. So they get married on Halloween, and they might be dressing up as the Addams Family. So it's this whole thing. So I'm not dressing up like Addams Family, but they may do it. But I have to leave the 30th. I was like, dang, I'll come see your show. I'm here in LA. I would love to see your show. So maybe next one.
Maybe that could be cool.
I know, that's funny. So yeah, but that's good. I'll put it in the bio. I'll be playing on the 30th. The name. I mean, that's one thing I almost forgot about the name. I like the name. I don't know what it means, but I like the name. What does it mean? Them Fantasies.
Gotcha. Well, I think so. One of the very first songs that Eric and I wrote together before the project was even called Them Fantasies, wasn't even the early alliteration of Them Fantasies yet. It
was our first
freshman year. It was our first kind of songwriting thing we did together. We had a song that we were writing, and we were coming home on the T, the public transit in Boston, after a pretty long night of partying. And we were writing these lyrics on the T, and one of the things that stuck out to us it was the lyric, "Them fantasies are nothing new," and for some reason that kind of stuck out to us. And we just really liked the way that name sounded. And I also like how ambiguous it can be. Fantasies are a lot of different things for a lot of people. So that's kind of like a win-win situation to us, I feel like.
And so that song was actually called Them Fantasies under our different name. And then when we changed the name, we changed it to Them Fantasies. So now it's like a Black Sabbath situation where we got Them Fantasies by Them Fantasies.
But not on Them Fantasies.
That's not
just Them Fantasies by Them Fantasies.
There's another group that had a song, a group called Talk Talk in the 80s had a song called Talk Talk. It was just really weird. You're talking about yourself, or a big country hat in a big country. It's weird. It's your title. It's also your name. It's weird. I like that. I like that. But the name is very ambiguous because when it first came across my desk, I was like, "Are these chicks?" I mean, I had no idea at first. Just Them Fantasies.
I'm happy. I'm really happy that there was a chance that you thought that.
That you're chicks. That's right, exactly. That's like hot chicks doing Them Fantasies. That's what I was kind of thinking at first. But you're right. It could be anything. But your music, again, I'm a new fan. I'm your new friend. Any press ever, you're welcome on the show anytime you're promoting anything. When the EP comes out, you have to come back on the show. Talk about the EP.
We'll
tell our PR guy. Yeah,
yes, you have to come back. Tell Jerry you have to come back on and talk about it. We're gonna promote the AF out of it. Promote it. But you guys are great. Them Fantasies is the group, you guys. Dominic, Eric, and Max. Thank you so much for your time. So tell everybody where they can find your music. This is your chance to promote AF. There you go.
Absolutely. Follow us on Spotify. We're really trying to drive traffic over there. So go stream our music. Follow us on Spotify. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok. We post very frequently over there, and we will see lots of you real soon. Our next show is at the Viper Room on October 30th, and we have a music video coming out on October 9th for Spoiled AF. So we'll see you then.
That's good. That's good. I mean, live. I've been missing live stuff. I'm so glad we're getting back to that again on some level. So that's good. That'd be good. I'm following you guys on Spotify. That's sitting right there. That's what I'm playing from Spotify. So yeah, go follow them. Go over there and add to their monthly listener list. Keep doing it. Spotify is the hot thing. Go over there and do it.
Oh yeah.
It helps them out. Them Fantasies of the group. I'm James Lott Jr. You can follow me where all James Lott Jr.'s are sold at James Lott Jr. on all social media platforms. And my music is out there too. So you can go to SoundCloud or Spotify, James Lott Jr. and hear all my new music that's out and coming out. So support the arts. The arts are very, very important. I talked to somebody today who was telling me how he's teaching art and music to 6 and 7-year-olds, and they're actually being changed by it. It's been proven in education that music can make a difference. Music can bring unity, music can bring intelligence, music can do so much. So support indie artists, especially support them. There's a lot of music out there that's not on the charts. A lot of music out there, so check them out. When you're on Spotify, they suggest a group, click on it and just see what they're talking about. See what they're singing. Definitely. That's what you got to do that. We got to say, music makes the world go around. So everybody do that. Everybody take care of yourselves and be nice to each other.